We'll start talking about Mike Garrity and the fact that he's left the club. When did you first have an idea that that might be the case?
Very recently, but I think, I was always aware when Mike came in, his relationship with Neil was very close, always respectful of that. And always in the back of my mind, I suppose, knew if Neil had ever decided that he wanted to get back into managing again, that I would have assumed that one of the first things he would have did was contacted Mike. So from my own perspective, it was something I was always ready for.
And again, I suppose it's a bit like players, isn't it? If a player wants to move to a higher level, it's hard to stand in their way, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always respectful of people's thoughts, and every person has to do what's right for them and their family. Mike's a great guy. I loved every minute I worked with him. He's a brilliant person, number one. He's a top coach, and I'm bitterly disappointed to lose him as a friend and as a work colleague. But absolutely delighted for him that he's getting an opportunity to be back in the championship with a brilliant manager and Neil at a great club. So disappointed for us, but very happy for Mike. And we wish him all the best. We totally understand that how football works. There's no problems. I'm genuinely very pleased for him.
And what will you miss with regards to Mike being at the club? What's going to be the big things that he brought that there's a little gap at the moment, maybe?
As a person, he was a top fella. He was an incredibly loyal guy. I mean, I know it really hurt him to leave, having come into us. He connected really well with the players. He connected really well with the staff. He challenged us many occasions in the right way. How he spoke and how he delivered his messages were brilliant. He was a funny guy as well, actually. Quite a dry sense of humour, but a great guy. And as a coach, he was fantastic. Really see the game. We'd have to drag him off the pitch every day. But like, Mike, it's 3:00, pal. We got to go. And but his game understanding was brilliant. How he sees the game. Brilliant coach developer. A real asset. It was a real asset to us, and it'll be a real asset to QPR.
In terms of a replacement, are you looking for someone with the same skill set again?
Well, without getting too much into it, there's certain things I look for somebody, and they won't change with the next person that I look for. Without getting into too much detail, I'm very clear what I want as a coach, and I think it's really important to say as well, Rob. It's not just about what I want; it's what the club wants as well. I've got a brilliant relationship with Clive, Jez, Liam. I don't want to go through the whole board. We've got a very close relationship, and it's important that whoever comes in, it's not a Mark Kennedy appointment, it's a club appointment, and I'm part of that process, or whoever you want to say is part of the process doesn't really bother me. One thing you can be sure, whoever comes in, it'll be a collective decision, and I'm really happy with that.
And do you expect that to be quite a quick process, or is it something that you're going to have to deal with you and Tom and the rest of the coaching staff for the next couple of weeks?
No, I'd expect it to be really quick. Sometimes you're in the lap of the gods with other people. We've started a process, so we spoke to people. Some are in work, some are not in work. So those things take time, but we'd like to do something very quickly.
Let's move on to the football then. When you get to this stage of the EFL Trophy, I know you always say you pick a team to win a game, but does the team selection become harder because you're closer to what could be a Wembley final, a Wembley victory?
I'm always saying to you, Rob, it's a great question. Not really. We want to pick the strongest team we can pick. I think in the earlier rounds, sometimes in the group stages, with having 3 games, sometimes it can be about giving people minutes. I do understand that the further you go on in the group, that you may change things around, but I'll never ever pick a team that doesn't believe can't win a game of football. I'd never ever pick a team to give people some time in a situation like this. So we'll 100% pick a team that we feel is capable of going and winning the game. The compliment to the group is that when we look at a bill of health at the minute in terms of players, we've got a fantastic pool to pick from. So I got asked a question the other day about how I see the squad and how I view it. When everybody's fit, we're very strong, not just with our starting 11, but whoever sat on the bench, there's 5 or 6 players we could change at any given time, and you'd go that's a first 11. So we've got a good pool to choose from at the minute.
And the fact that you've spent time in 21 set up in youth football and development football, does that give you an advantage when you come up against teams like this because you know what to expect, maybe more than managers who spend their career in first team?
I wouldn't say an advantage, an understanding, yes, but when I look at Everton, I think they're a very good footballing side, but also they don't. I was talking about it this morning. I remember playing a game. I was coaching at Wolves playing in a game. We played Derby at Loughborough. I remember after about 20 minutes thinking, this is fantastic. Football's amazing. And then by half time, I was like, this is ridiculous. It's just not real football. And the reason I'm saying that is I think Everton have a lovely balance of what good football looks like, but real football. And I think it'll be a really tough game. But we're preparing for a really tough game.
Yeah, I was looking through their possession stats from the other trophy games that they've had, and they've not been a team that have dominated possession in those games. So do they, have a more realistic look at who they're coming up against rather than playing for possession's sake?
I obviously can't talk about their approach for the games, but I think they've got a lovely balance. I think if you allow them to play, they'll show you how good they are. They've obviously got pacey technical players, which all academies will want. Certainly Cat 1 academies anyway. But they've got a nice balance in what real football looks like in the transitions and the build-up phases. So I think it'll be one of. I gotta be careful. I haven't seen loads of academy teams, but I think it'll be certainly a team that play the game like it should be played. It's certainly not false.
You talked about the clean bill of health, or close to a clean bill of health, that you've got the likes of Jordan Garrick and Danny Mandroyo. Is this a good chance to get them minutes and to get them onto the pitch and get them starts?
No, because I'm not giving anybody minutes. If they deserve to play, they'll play. Sometimes they'll deserve to play, but somebody's doing better. So nobody that plays tomorrow will be playing because they need minutes.
And overall, in terms of the squad, all come through okay from Saturday?
Well, I'm glad that you that's doing this interview, Rob. We train late on a Monday, so there's a couple of conversations I'll have to have as soon as I go off this call. There's a couple of people waiting for me already, so once we get through that, there's no concerns going forward. There may be a consideration for somebody with looking towards Saturday and the games we've got coming up, but we've got no injuries basically.